Senior Bowl practice starts today, and Clemson edge rusher T.J. Parker must hit the ground running to supercharge his draft stock.
You are Locked On NFL Draft, your daily podcast covering the NFL Draft. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On NFL Draft Podcast, your daily podcast covering your favorite draft prospects, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your boy, Damian Parson. I'm an NFL draft analyst with Bleacher Report. And as always, thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen of the day. And thank you for making the Locked On Podcast Network your number one, the sports podcast network in America, all because of you guys. And we love you for it. Guys, it's the first day, day one of Senior Bowl practices and his draft season. And this show is going to be chock full of prospects to talk about, prospects that you need to watch. I'm going to tell you those key prospects to watch and key storylines to watch and why they hover around the quarterbacks to kick off Senior Bowl practices. But let's start on the defensive side of the ball. David Bailey, Reuben Bane Jr., Cassius Howell. Depending on who you ask, all three have first-round grades heading into the 2026 NFL Draft, and all three are no longer on the rosters for the Senior Bowl. What does that mean? T.J. Parker step into the spotlight, but not just him. We'll talk about some other edge rushers as well. But for T.J. Parker, you need to hit the ground running. If you ask me, T.J. Parker, what's listed as 6'3", 260 pounds. Out of Clemson, a young man that we like for the last couple years, right? Since he was a freshman, he showcased a lot. Yes, 6'3", 263. So kind of sawed-off frame in terms of the 6'3" frame, but that 260, almost 265, plays with good power and strength. One of the things to watch with him is I want to see him hit the ground running, set the tone early. If you watch his tape, one thing about T.J. Parker is that he defends the run well. He sets a hard edge, and he knows how to lock out and anchor and everything off of the edge. Well, with that being the case, he does a great job of that. Now, I expect him to do that same thing in Mobile. Right? I expect him to do the same thing today in practice. But what we need to see from a T.J. Parker is the coming off of summer scouting. I remember watching him, and I'm like, man, he's really good with his hands, right? And for those who don't know, last year, coming off summer scouting, off of the 2024 season, he had 12 sacks, 11 QB hits, 28 hurries, 5 fumbles forced. Well, this year, 6 sacks, 11 QB hits, 24 hurries, and 0 fumbles forced. So definitely a down year in terms of pass rush completion. I'm not even going to say he didn't get in the backfield. No, he created pressure. He created hurries. He just didn't close the deal like he did in 2024. So this is a big moment for him. When those top guys are not there, somebody's got to step into that spotlight that was left, right? I mean, think about it. We all remember nobody came to see you, Otis. David Ruffin said that. But when they took David Ruffin off of the Temptations, I feel like people still listen and watch the Temptations because the right people stepped into the spotlight. So, yes, Reuben Bane, Cassius Howell, even though I think T.J. Parker and Cassius Howell are very similar in terms of body types and stuff, I think, I would say probably where you have the concerns will be the arm length for both guys. I think Parker plays more strength, and then Howell is more explosive, bendy, and things of that nature. But Howell, Bane, Bailey, all those with 3 edge rushers off the map, right? In terms of the Senior Bowl, this is an opportunity for T.J. Parker to supercharge and reinvigorate his draft stock. Go out there, set the edge whenever they do some run drills, but in those one-on-ones, show these NFL scouts, these NFL teams, and the rest of us that you know how to get to the quarterback. But another guy hey, this is a little different. This guy actually, he did a great job showcasing that, hey, guys, I know how to get to the quarterback. I transferred it. Bailey. I did a great job with, I think he had like 9.5 sacks or something like that. And that is nobody other than Romello Height. Yes, Romello Height 100% has a lot. This is a guy you should be watching because I think he could be a big beneficiary, another beneficiary of those guys that decided not to stay and attend the Senior Bowl. And when you look at from the Senior Bowl and you go to the seniorbowl.com, look at the rosters, you look at the website, they have the measurements up. Now, this is a different body type for Romello Height. 6'2", 234 pounds. So now I think he was listed at 240 during the season. Maybe he dropped a little bit. He had 9.5 sacks, 11 QB hits, 42 hurries, 3 fumbles forced this year, right? So this is his 6th year in school. Spent 2 years at Auburn. He enrolled in 2020. So he's an older prospect. Spent 2 years at Auburn, 2 years at USC, 1 year at Georgia Tech, and then this final year at Texas Tech. And this final year was where he had his true breakout season. So nonetheless, I just look at Romello Height and say, teams are going to be looking for that fastball, that explosive edge rusher off the, explosive pass rusher off the edge, and he can bring that. But one thing also, he's not just an explosive guy. He does have a good inside counters where he uses the speed rush outside just to Euro step, cross chop, and now he's in the face of the quarterback, or cross, kind of club with the long arm over. He has maneuvers in his bag. So I think this is a situation where you say, can you go out here and dominate the one-on-ones outside of speed? And I think he has the ability to translate and do more than just put out the speed when it all boils down to it. Now, for me, another guy to watch, and I'm talking, listen, I know this is an edge rush heavy. We're going to get the quarterbacks a little bit later to close the show out, so stay tuned. We're going to talk about the quarterbacks. Don't worry. Talk about the cash cows, the people we all love and care about, right? Sarcasm. We love and care about all prospects, not just quarterbacks here. But the point is, we're talking some we're talking some defense, some guys that you need. Your team is going to need these guys. Now let's again, we'll get to the quarterbacks a little bit later, but let's talk about Zion Young, 6'5". He measured in at the Senior Bowl, 6'5", out of Missouri, edge rusher, defensive end, 6'5", 260. All right, 6'5", 260. This is a grown man. He looks like a grown man. And I'm looking forward to see where he plays. That's going to be one of the storylines to watch with Zion Young is where is he aligning? Not just in one-on-ones, right? Like, of course, because we have seen guys that will go to the Senior Bowl and they'll in one-on-ones, you'll see them kind of play that. You'll see them play that the edge. They'll rush from the edge, but then sometimes they'll rush against interior offensive linemen at the 3 tech or 4 eye spot. So that's what I'm gonna be looking for with Zion Young is where are you lining up, not just in one-on-ones, but also and especially in team drills on those pass rushing situations, right? Can you collapse the pocket from the outside consistently, or are you somebody that we say, hey, let's bulk you up to 275, 280, right? And I think his frame. I think I think his frame can handle a little more mass to his build. I don't think he's completely maxed out, but I think that's something that you have to key in on overall is watching out for his frame, and how he's going to be able to get it done. I think that's probably one of my biggest things is, hey, Zion Young, show us what you have. Because again, I think you can bulk him up. Looking at a picture of him right now, I think you can bulk this guy up to about 280, and now he's 5 tech, 4 eye rushing, setting the edge, in run situations, and then kicking inside and rushing against the interior offensive lineman. I want to showcase us some of that versatility starting off this first day of Senior Bowl practices, and I think for him, it's a lot of money to be made for him. Just go, because if you go out here and you have 2 sacks or you have 2-3 clean dominant wins, and you showcasing good get off and power using arm length and hand usage, show us that, hey, I have a lot to offer as a pass rusher. And at the end of the day, that's what we need. This draft class, the edge rush group is good. But now with the spotlight unoccupied, again, like I talked about with TJ Parker, Zion Young, step into that spotlight and own that spotlight. Derrick Moore, same thing out of Michigan, 6'3", 255. He's been super productive this year, right? A well-built individual in terms of Derrick Moore. And we've talked about him. Keith really loves him. I like him. I've been talking about him. Feel like for a couple years now, but Michigan never really let the dog off the wolf, off his leash. Okay, 11 sacks, 9 QB hits, 21 pressures this year, 2 fumbles forced. He's 23 years old, 6'3", 260. I think, can get off the ball, play with power. Just keep your eye out on Michigan edge rusher Derrick Moore. Zion Young, TJ Parker, and Romello Height, some guys that could and should step into the spotlight for the Senior Bowl to kick off Senior Bowl practice for the edge rush position. Coming up next, guys, more prospects to watch and why I think we have not Nick Ebenward 2.0, but another safety nickel hybrid that can steal the show. There's nothing like being in the NBA arenas. The crowd, the energy, the moment. Getting tickets, though, well, that part hasn't always been so simple. That's why Game Time has become the go-to app for scoring tickets fast, without the hassle. It puts the advantage back where it belongs, with you, the fans. Great last-minute options are what they offer, with NBA tickets showing up at solid prices. Everything feels quick, intuitive, and stress-free from start to finish. Plus, they have zone deals that stand out. All you have to do is choose a section, Game Time picks the seats, and you save money. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. That's code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today, and remember, it's gametime.co, not .com. It's the last call for football on FanDuel. One final Sunday, one last kickoff, the final chance to get in on the action before the NFL season officially comes to a close. This is Super Bowl 60, and FanDuel is making sure you're right in the middle of it with a special offer just in time for the biggest game of the year. Whether you're backing the favorite, riding with the underdog, or building one last same-game parlay, this is the game everyone's been waiting for. It's the perfect way to cap off the season and make the Super Bowl even more exciting from kickoff to the final whistle. If you're a new customer, bet just $5 and you will get $200 back in bonus bets if you win. Make it count, because after the Super Bowl, the season is over. Last call for football on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. More 2026 NFL Draft prospects to watch during the first practice of Senior Bowl week. That's what we're getting into next. But guys, thank you so much for being an everydayer with us. If you want the show ad-free, check out the Everydayer Club by going to LockedOnNFLDraft.supercast.com to subscribe and become a member. Jalen, Kilgore. Listen, what we're seeing right now, when you look at the Seattle Seahawks defense, that secondary, Tariq Woolen, up and down, Devin Witherspoon had his struggles, but really good player. Like, that secondary is really good, right? They had their hands full with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, as everyone should. But the star of that game in the NFC Championship game, it wasn't either one of those guys, right? The guys who've been there for a couple years and the highly touted guy, it wasn't either one of those. It was Nicky Minwari, the nickel hybrid safety that checked every single box during last draft season, and we as a community got cute about his evaluation, right? That's why I always say everybody doesn't deserve access to all 22 college film. But nonetheless, what we're seeing from Nicky Minwari is that ability to be that hybrid man-to-man zone defender, +1 in the run game, blitzer, like uber and hyper athletic defender. That matters. And Jalen Kilgore, not the same body type. I don't know if he's going to be the exact same one-for-one athlete, but that ability to play that role, Kilgore brings, man. And at the Senior Bowl, looking at his measurements here and what he measured in at the Senior Bowl, little under 6'1", right? So a little under 6'1", 211 pounds. This is a guy that plays in the nickel, right? Plays that nickel spot. He can play in some split safety looks if you want him to, but the closer you have him to the action, the better, because he can play man, he can play zone, and he's got good ball skills, right? So I'm just telling you now, this is a guy to watch in one-on-ones, not just against receivers, but I want to see him against some tight ends as well. Because, yes, he's going to give up some in the height standpoint, and maybe, and also in the weight, he's 211. Some tight ends are 6'5", 6'6", 250. I got a couple tight ends I'm going to talk about right after this. Yeah, some of these guys are a little bit heavier than him, right? 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 inches taller than him. But the point is, this young man has a skill set that's going to be very valuable to the right defensive coordinator. So I'm telling you now, guys, I think he could steal the show and end up being a big-time riser, okay, to where we're talking, hey, top of the second round for sure, almost making him a lock as a top 40 to top 50 pick without a doubt or any question about it. So Jalen Kilgore, safety, nickel hybrid out of South Carolina. Please keep your eyes out on him because he can end up stealing this show. I believe that, guys. This dude can take the ball away. He can cover. He's instinctive, and he's healthy. That's the key. If he's healthy, and I believe he's healthy, he got healthier during the back stretch of the season. I believe he was playing better ball than he was in the middle. Yeah, keep your eyes out for South Carolina DB Jalen Kilgore. But I talked about some of those tight ends, and let's jump to one out of NC State who's on the roster. Man, that's Justin Jolly, and I believe he is on the national team here. Let me pull up. Yeah, Justin Jolly, 6'3", 251, a guy that can run routes. Okay, that he can run routes. If you're giving him off coverage, man to man, he's got good head fakes. He's intentional. He's sudden at the top in the apex of his route. But I like what I've seen of him from film in terms of no indicators or very few indicators. And for a guy that is a tight end and not a wide receiver, running routes without giving indicators is not easy, guys. I promise you. Receivers struggle with it, especially at the college level. So watching him run routes, I watched, I can't remember who he was playing, but he ran a corner route. He was lined up kind of as the pseudo, I guess, slot, you could say. And like he sold it vertically. Nice stutter step with the head nod and shoulder fake inside, like he was going to break on the in-breaking route. Turn the DB around. He was wide open on the post, on the corner, I'm sorry, to the sideline. Just lost his guy. And when you're able to do things like that, and create that space and get open and be intentional and consistent, I think this is an opportunity for him to prove, hey, listen, Kenyon Sadiq is what, 6'3", 245? And we have him as his stock is dropping. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. His stock is dropping. Kenyon Sadiq's stock is dropping a little bit because of the drops are a concern for a lot of people, as they should be. Can't be dropping the football. But not just the drops. I think it's also there's some stiffness. There's a little stiffness to him as a route runner. So you want to simplify the routes, which we simplify the routes for tight ends all the time anyway, right? Like you don't see we didn't watch Tyler Warren out here routing guys up left and right. We simplified what Tyler Warren did and allow him to feast and beast the way he works and the way it works his best. And it worked. So, but nonetheless, I think, the drops and then just some of the transitional or just the inability to create, be creative with the football in his hands and everything. I think that's a big thing for Kenyon Sadiq. So his stock has been dropping as of late from what I've heard. Nothing, no red flag character-wise. He works hard. That BS got put out a while back, but I've heard differently. But the point is, he's like his stock has been dropping a little bit. Justin Jolly, similar build, similar height, weight, size, and everything. Yeah, Justin Jolly could end up having a great week in Mobile. Number 7 from North Carolina State. And on the season this year, he didn't have some crazy statistical season. Caught 49 catches, 489 yards or so, 7 receiving touchdowns. But the thing that is, I think the best thing for him, only one drop all season. Only one drop this entire season, right? He's improved his drops every year. That's the trend you like to see. In 2023, 6 drops. 2024, 3 drops. 2025, 1 drop. And he's still converting roughly around 60% of his contested catches. So not only are you getting better catching the football, now you're also still dominating the catch point when they throw the contested catches to you. So just look out for him, man. Those one-on-ones, the team drills, blocking. Can you consistently get open? Show us what type of athlete you are when you are able to stretch the field vertically. Can you outrun not just the linebackers, but can you outrun the safeties? And if you get matched up against a smaller corner, can you run stride for stride with them? And then can you body him either at the catch point or box him out at the catch point and use all of that 250 pounds to your advantage? So look out for Justin Jolly, a guy that's a deep sleeper to me, and I think he's going to come off the board on day 3, but be a potential quality starter for a team. That's Sam Roush. Sam Roush from Stanford, man. Come on, how many times have we heard a tight end from Stanford over the years, right? It's what they do, okay? It's just what Stanford does, right? Recruit tight ends. Came in at 6'5", 260 pounds. He caught 49 passes, 549 yards receiving, 2 receiving touchdowns this year. Was his best year of his career over at Stanford. Not because it's his fault. He's just had inept quarterback play, his entire time there. Now PFF has him accounted for 7 drops. I always say this: all drops are not created equal. So gotta watch the tape and see if those drops are actually drops. But I think with Sam Roush, run block is going to be a big thing for him. Showcasing, hey, have you gotten stronger since the end of the season? Even though he's 260, I think he can improve his functional strength at the POA, at the point of attack, to be able to hold up, even run his legs and use leg drive and move guys off, or creating those soft edges for the running back to be able to take advantage of and work around and things of that nature. Sealing off guys. I want to see him really battle in the run blocking aspect of things if they get into that, how intense. This is the first time of the Drew Fabianich with these new coaches and everything, so we have to see how intense these practices will be, because last year, oh man, were they like outside of one, I think, was it Mike Kafka? I think it was his practice was fine. It was still slow paced, but it was okay. The Browns coach, oh man, I continue to say it, guys. It was a snooze fest. I promise you. I don't know how any team felt like they got anything of value from the quarterbacks in that practice, but dear God, God bless them. But nonetheless, I think Sam Roush, if you get those opportunities to run block, do your thing. But he can run routes in the short and intermediate. Has good, good frame and catch radius, and I think he has enough speed to stretch vertically up the seam. Keep your eyes on big Sam Roush. And then lastly, Markel Bell, the left tackle for the Miami Hurricanes. His stock has been on the rise, guys. His stock is rising. 6'9", like 340, 330, somewhere in there. Powerful dude. Engulfs his defenders. It's hard to get around him. It's hard to get through him. You're going to have to figure it out. I'm going to tell you what he might be, where he's probably trending to be. A healthy, good version of DeJuan Jones. I'm going to end it there. I'm going to end it there because we got to talk about the storylines to watch. And it involves the quarterbacks. And why give them some grace. It's just day one.
Hey, it's Matt Derry from the Locked On Lions podcast. The people I love depend on me. If I'm gone, the financial responsibilities don't disappear. I didn't want my family figuring things out during the hardest moment of their lives. That's why I knew only one place to go. I chose life insurance through my friends at Ethos. Ethos makes getting life insurance fast and easy, 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. There's no medical exam. You just answer a few simple health questions. You can get up to $3 million in coverage. Some policies are as low as $30 a month. I love the folks at Ethos. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos now by going to ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. In as little as 10 minutes, you can get the free quote and up to $3 million in coverage at ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. That is ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Ethos.com/LockedOnNFL. Application times and rates may vary.
The big game is almost here, and there's no better way to stay locked into every moment than with Prize Picks, the daily fantasy app where it always feels good to be right. With football season coming down to the final stretch, now's the perfect time to close it out strong. Prize Picks makes watching the game even more exciting by letting you build simple lineups around player projections. No drafts, no waiting, just football action all the way through the playoffs. The new social feed makes it fun to follow friends, share lineups, and get inspiration from other players. I love being able to mix stars from different teams and build lineups that fit how I watch the game. Just download the PrizePicks app today and use the code LOCKEDONNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNFL for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks is good to be right. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout out for being our every day. Storylines to watch is what we're getting into next to close out this episode. But guys, thanks for being an everydayer with us each and every day. And if you want the show ad-free, check out the Everydayer Club. Go to LockedOnNFLDraft.supercast.com to subscribe and become an everydayer in the Everydayer Club. The storylines to watch, the biggest storyline to watch is simple. What will the quarterbacks do, right? What will the QBs do at the Senior Bowl in the first practice to kick things off? On the American team, the quarterbacks we have, Taylen Green out of Arkansas, 6'6", 229. We have Illinois' Luke Altmaier, 6'1", 210 pounds. And then we have Garrett Nussmeier, 6'1", 202. We'll talk about that in a second. And then on the national team, the quarterbacks we have are Sawyer Robertson from Baylor, 6'3", 220. Diego Pavia, 5'9", 198. Not good. And then North Dakota State, Cole Payton, 6'2", 229. So when you think about that American team, right, and you have, to me, they have the best talent, in my opinion. And it starts with Taylen Green as the best pure talent at the quarterback position, right? Yes, he's a streaky passer. When you're talking about pure talent, yeah, there's nobody there more talented than Taylen Green. He's arguably the only athlete that can even measure up to him is Cole Payton. So he's arguably the best athlete there at the quarterback position. He's got the best frame in terms of 6'6", 6'6", 229, almost 230, rocking arm, okay, can layer the football, but the accuracy is streaky. The lower body is where you want to get him consistent with his throwing mechanics and with his throwing motion. You want him to throw on time and not have so much of a heel clicky hiccup in his drop back. Now, Garrett Nussmeier, 6'1", 202, kind of small. And I said that. I've been saying that this whole time. When I saw him, up and close and personal at the Clemson LSU game, I said this is a small quarterback, but he's the most natural, and he is the most natural passer at the Senior Bowl. And I think the storyline to watch is how do these guys operate day one, throwing the ball to guys they've never thrown to before, right? One thing I've learned, a lot of us in this space, we don't always give flowers when we're supposed to give flowers, but I'm going to give mine. One of the guys who kind of mentored and helped me a lot and still do to this day is my guy that works over at ESPN, Jordan Reed. I love that dude. That's my brother. You know what I mean? And Jordan, he told me this probably a couple years ago, and he always says it every Senior Bowl. He's like, DP, I'm not even looking at the quarterbacks the first day, first practice and a half maybe, but at least first practice. He's not watching the quarterbacks as much because he knows it takes some time to gain that rhythm and chemistry and timing down with their new weapon. So I'm all for it. I totally understand. I'm with him on that as well. I think just for those who want to watch the quarterbacks, just see how they're going through the motions, right? How they are operating, their mechanics. Do they, like, you could tell when a guy's robotic, like they're thinking about, hey, my back foot hits here, hitch, throw. Like you could tell when they're robotic and their mind is calculating each and every step. And then you could tell when guys are in their drop back and it's back foot hits, throw. You know what I mean? And it's just natural. It's fluid. It's synchronized. Just watch for those type of things and everything. See how guys, how they handle that adversity. Oh, I sprayed the ball. I missed those first couple throws. Can you settle back in? I'll never forget that first Senior Bowl. Malik Willis had, the phrase out of that first practice. He had the 5 worst throws and the 5 best throws. And then after that first day, he settled in. And he was one of the best, if not the best quarterback all week that week, right? And look at him now. He's probably going to get a bag somewhere in free agency. I'm just saying, Don't be surprised if it's the Miami Dolphins. But point is, I think when you look at Garrett Nussmeier, I think Luke Altmaier is a guy to just kind of watch. I think he could be the steady Eddie guy out of this group and everything. And then when you go to the national team, you look at those quarterbacks, Sawyer Robertson, like just being confident and consistent, finding your footing and not pressing the gas too much for him. Diego Pavia, leadership, character. I don't think what you do in the field is going to matter as much for some people. You came in at 5'9", and you had the stuff off the field that you did after you lost, and rightfully so. You didn't have a better season, more impactful season than Fernando Mendoza, but like you got to go out here and do the right things and say the right things and make people forget of the foolish crap you did, after losing out on the Heisman. Cole Payton, man, at 6'2", 229, almost 230. It's going to be, hey, stick out like a sore thumb in a good way. Stick out like a sore thumb, Cole, and don't look like the rest of the group. Look like a guy who came here with something to prove. Look like a guy who wants to put his best foot forward, showcasing, hey, my back foot hits. I can throw. I'm a lefty. I can throw with accuracy. Change the narrative around left-handed quarterbacks. Feels like left-handed quarterbacks are not producing well in the NFL. For the limited time we get them, it just hasn't been pretty, right? Penix isn't good. Tua's not good anymore. Like, it just doesn't look right. It's not helpful. So, Cole Payton, it might be a lot on you for all the lefties out there hoping to make it to the league, but you're coming in and you're the small fish coming from you're a big fish coming from a small pond, some people would say. Now for you, it's showing that, I'm not really a fish. I'm actually a shark, and I belong here with you. Settle in, mesh yourself into the situation, right? To where you look like, hey, I belong here, and then stick out like a sore thumb, because you don't just belong here, you're balling. And now people are saying, yo. So, yeah, I think all these quarterbacks got a lot to prove. The storyline is, to me, is just watching them, the mechanics, the leadership, the body language, good and bad. You know what I mean? Do they, how quickly do they find their rhythm within their throwing sessions and everything? But at the same time, remember to give them grace, because it's only day one of practice, and they are going to be throwing to some guys they've never talked to, never thrown to before in their lives. But guys, that is our day one Senior Bowl practice preview. Prospects to watch and key storylines to watch, from quarterbacks to tight ends to edge rushers to offensive tackles. Could have went wide receivers, but we talked about them last week. I want to give the love to some other position groups as well. But guys, go subscribe and follow for free on YouTube, wherever you listen to podcasts, to get the latest episode as soon as it is available. Thank you for making Locked On NFL Draft your first listen today and every day. Shout for being our everydayers. Come and join the conversation. Come and join the conversation again tomorrow for more previews, recaps, all of that. As the film drops, I will be breaking it down and telling you what I'm seeing from the all-22 angle, because the eye in the sky never lies. So come and join the conversation again tomorrow on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.